I knew you were a drummer, a percussionist. So, but you moved to gong, so you can play drum and you can play gong. Can you compare what's the difference with drum and gong? And drum got it's a big family. They got all sorts of African drum, many different drum. What's the effect I'm more interested about to human body, body, mind, spirit? It's body. Not entertaining use. It's just more effective. Yeah. Before you answer, I want to invite people to subscribe our channel and give a thumbs up and leave the comments. Yep.
Well, yeah, they're all members of the percussion family, actually, gongs and drums, because we hit them. This is the word. Sound them, strike them, bang them, all these very...
The boys like it.
Aggressive words.
Yeah.
With gongs, we like to say sound, or some of us do, rather than bang or hit. But with drums, we're more likely to say strike, because it is a more... well, the thing is that what is the difference between these two instruments? They've got technical names. One is called an idiophone, the gong. Makes it idiophone. It makes the sound is created by the body of the instrument. With the drum, well, a drum. What is a drum? It's a shell.
Can you show people? This is a French drum,
sometimes called a shamanic drum. But I wanted to the shell. This is the shell.
This is the shell. Yeah, the side, right? The shell. Yeah. This is called the shell.
And this is the head. So this is called a membranophone. So this is a membrane. The skin or the head, and the shell is stretched tight over the shell, often with some kind of tuning, or these strings here just pull everything very, very tight.
Different drum got different structure.
The basic
African drum is different.
The basic principle is the same, though, that you're stretching this what we call membrane, skin or head over the shell of the drum. Some shells are very deep. Some drums are very small, some are very big. And then you have some method of tightening up and making the head tight so that it resonates when you play it. So that in this one it's kind of strings. Others you get tuning screws. There's various methods of tightening them up, but it's the same principle. You're particularly interested, I think, in the effect on the human body.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm more interested about the effect. Not entertaining. Yeah, entertaining. Like African drum is very good in singing and dancing. Wow,
well, the thing about this, Eileen, is that I explain this to our gong students, where we're teaching some gong strokes which have actually come from drum playing, like rolls, for example. A roll on a gong is actually much easier to play than it is on a drum. Why? Because the gong, when you sound it, it lasts for a long time. Each stroke will naturally, the sound will blend into the next one and blend into the next one. So to create this wave of sound that you get with a roll, it's actually much easier because the sound carries on. Each stroke adds to the next, so you get this lovely sound welling up and building into a nice rich sound. With the drum, you have to do all the work yourself because the drum, as we know, you strike it and the sound decays very quickly. With the gong, it goes on for a long time. With the drum, whichever kind of drum it is, obviously a very small drum, the decay is very quick. With a bigger drum, a longer decay, but still quite quick. So if you want to have a constant roll, then you have to work harder to keep it going. That's one thing to say.
Hold on. I want to add on. We have a video talking about how long the gong can sound. The big gong for 50 inches, right? One strike more than 1 minute.
Okay.
We can hear, human can hear, but it's actually it can sound 2 minutes.
Now,
but for the same size of the drum,
well, this is what I was going to bring in, which you didn't know that I was going to bring up in this conversation.
Okay.
Which is that I've just given viewers the kind of stock thing about the difference between a drum and a gong. Is the gong lasts a long time, the drum's got a short decay. Well, actually, I remember at the foot of a sacred mountain in Sri Lanka some years ago, I was invited to visit a peace pavilion that had been created there by this Japanese Buddhist, and he had this huge Japanese Buddhist,
big
whatever
drum.
those drums are called.
Yeah,
I mean, they're similar to the ones that I've seen here in Taiwan, that the youth theatre use with a big, similar to that.
Yeah.
But a different tradition, Japanese Buddhism is a different from where they are, similar cultural heritage. But the interesting thing was that I was invited to not to play this drum, but to play in this peace pavilion, my little drum that I'd taken there. But he when he played this thing, I played it with these huge, great big mallets.
Wow.
And the sound resonated for ages because not only was it a very big drum, but because of the reflection, the reverberation in the room actually created really this long sound.
But instrument to instrument.
So that we have got to not be too strict about our definitions about, it's a very short sounding decay. Yes.
But if instrument in the same room, instrument to instrument.
But if you've got to look at the context, that's all.
Yeah.
The other point, of course, to make is that, the drum can be a little bit more challenging in some of these techniques that you have to play, but it lends itself to you playing rhythms.
Oh, yeah.
And you were talking about people singing and dancing and the impact it has on the human body. Yeah. Well, I think it's something to do with the way that you build on these rhythms that we have. When those of us who do deep listening or meditation and we learn how to tune into the rhythmic sounds within our own bodies, the heartbeat is an obvious one, but there's other ones. There's other deeper rhythmic complexes within our bodies. And my belief is that drummers from ancient or cultural, from different cultural heritages have zoned in on this, so that if you go to a traditional drumming ceremony in Africa, then somehow there's a real direct flow between what the rhythms they're playing and how they impact on you physically, and the rhythms within your body they entrain. Again, we get back to this term, entrainment. There's an entrainment, and the playing even just a simple heartbeat on what we call the shamanic drum we've just shown, the simple mimicking the rhythm of the heart beat. Well, this is an amazingly powerful, simple rhythm that has a massive impact on us physically, I think, and that can take us from the physical to the mental, to the spiritual.
You mean that's only
body,
for
mind, spirit?
That's only for French drum or old drum?
No, I'm just suggesting that that's what a set of African drummers playing very complex polyrhythms will also be doing. They're also having a direct physical connection with the bodies of the people that are around, in part of the ceremony or the audience, and that's why they'll get up and their reaction is to get up and dance. And so the modern dance music forms that we have that have arisen with the synthesizers and the electronic music and the discotheques and everything, that's where it's come from. And we can argue about whether it's as beneficial as the kind of the natural sounding drums. Well, that's another conversation for another day. But that's what I think about that. But the other point I was going to make, drums naturally give you rhythms when you're playing these short decaying strikes that you can impact with the human body, these powerful rhythms, but you can play rhythms on gongs as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as I coming from a drumming background, I was always intrigued by the way that if you started to really go with the flows of the natural movements of the gong and started playing rhythms in tune time with that and elaborating on that, using different combinations of left and right and so on, that you create these wonderful subtle rhythmic patterns. And I always try and encourage our students to get to grips with this, and I think
that's another topic. Okay.
But my only point is that you can find rhythms in gongs as well.
Yeah,
and
but
it's very subtle.
My focus today is mainly drum and gong.
Yep.
Drum. What's the effect? Gongs. Yeah. What's the effect? I mean, drum physically or mentally affect to the people. Like I said, that drum, many people, when they hear the drum, they feel that it's kind of more dancing or rhythmical, so kind of joyful or happy.
I think so. I think it's very expansive. It creates this effervescent feeling. It wants you. People want to get up and move around, active.
Yeah.
Whereas gongs can be.
It's because of the reason.
I think it's
because
to do
when
with
we
this.
play the
exactly
drum,
so.
and also intention. When we play the shamanic drum, is totally different.
Well, it is. If we're playing it slower, I mean, we can dance with that kind of drum, and we can play fast, complicated rhythms. That or slow ones. You can do that on many drums.
Yeah.
But generally, we would think about playing drums and the way that we respond to them as being active, whereas with gongs, perhaps more immersive and more relaxing. But I just wanted to make the point, that you can create rhythms on gongs and it can be just as subtle and enthralling.
You made it. So when people, I really like the youth theater performance, you too, right? And in Asia, not only youth theater, the Japanese big drum, it is in our culture, we like it. But that's very different when we hear group of people playing big and medium and small drum. Very, exciting and but after that, when we finish the concert, we come back. The vibration, diminution. Yeah, quite quick. Right?
Oh, do you think so? Oh, really? Yeah, that's an interesting point, actually. Yeah,
it's different with gong.
Actually,
like you say
that's
before.
a very good point. I hadn't really considered that before.
So I think that's why the drum mainly is more, in those kind of drum group, mainly more performance or entertaining base. It's not we use a big drum to play as a sound therapy.
I actually think it can be, you'll find that drums are used in quite intense ceremonial, ritualistic purposes, which can create a higher sense of consciousness as well, actually. I think you might be doing them a bit disservice. I think that it's a really interesting point that you make, where we often say to people who've been to a gong bath, if you focus on it, you'll find that this resonance inside you will last for hours and days afterwards, and people often report that back to us. With drums, maybe the impact is shorter lived. I think that might be a good point, actually. And that people can actually need to go rest at the end of a very active session dancing with the gongs. They want to lie down and go to sleep. Whereas with the gongs, very often it's the opposite, and even at the end of an all-night gong puja, you can feel full of the joys of spring and go leaping out and spend the day and not feel tired at all. That's a really interesting point I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, and so in modern days, so-called sound therapies or sound therapy or gong bass, drum, sometimes people also play drum, but in different way.
Yeah, well, this is more, we would be talking more about these frame drums, shamanic drums, isn't it?
Yeah.
We use this drum particularly in very powerful drum in one-to-one, don't we? And also in gong bars. And we find it's a fabulous instrument to use as either together with or separate as an alternative to other instruments. It really creates the moment that we pick up and start playing it, not loud.
No.
Generally, it's quite quiet.
You don't need to play loud.
The power comes up.
Yeah, intention and then the vibration.
Often starting with a heartbeat type sound I was mentioned earlier. It creates this instant rapport with the listener's own heartbeat. If you're tuning, there's an entrainment even at a very low level, and it can have a very powerful impact. One thing we've started to do, which I really like at the moment in gong bars, we just happened on
online gong bars.
Online gong bars. Yeah. Well, this isn't something I think we've done live in a live gong bar. Was combining our shamanic drum with your beautiful big feathers, playing rhythmically. This rhythmic sound together, very powerful.
Here you are. This is a short clips of our online gong bass, all real, live. Online gong bass, that's a short clips. And there's a drum with feather. I hope you like it. And if you like to join us, many people now is online gong bass group. They know the benefit. Please check QR code or down below. We see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.